Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, and that bill also, my colleague from North Carolina allowed for taxpayers to pay for those abortions, a position that has, both sides have agreed shouldn't happen going back to the 1980s. That's been a commonly held position. This is, ladies and gentlemen, this is political theater. We know what it is. We're 5 weeks out from an election and an issue which is being used offensively by our colleagues on the other side in a way that they think will help them politically in this November's election. That's all this is, nothing more, nothing less, nothing else. And Democrats want you to think today that they're the party that supports and acts in the best interest of women. This hearing has nothing to do with women and babies. It has everything to do with politics. And I would tell you, and I have 2 daughters and 3 granddaughters. My wife and my youngest daughter, who's 34, have both been president of an organization called Teddy Bear Den, which is an organization in South Dakota, not a government organization, but one that supports single moms through their pregnancies and then helps care for their babies after they're born. You know, that to me is what we ought to be about. It's about compassion and caring and taking care of moms and babies. But Democrats often want to pick and choose which babies get supported. And sometimes abortions don't go as planned and the baby miraculously survives. These babies deserve to receive medical care just like any other baby that's born into this world. And Democrats have, of course, to argue that this doesn't happen, but the CDC estimates that between 23 and 2014, at least 143 babies died after being born alive during abortions, and that doesn't count the babies that actually survived. It's a basic standard of decency to protect these babies. Yet Democrats year after year have voted against a bill that I lead with Senator Langford that would ensure babies who survive an attempted abortion receive the same care as any other newborn. Dr. Francis, could you tell us a little bit more about how a baby may survive an abortion, and shouldn't this baby be given the same opportunity as any other baby to receive medical care?
Absolutely. So as you said, Senator Thune, we know that babies are born alive after a quote-unquote failed abortion. In fact, there was an abortionist in the past who called it the dreaded complication of an abortion when a baby is actually born alive. And we have data from several states saying that even in recent years, there have been multiple babies that have been born alive after an abortion. I don't think that a child's right to receive appropriate medical care should depend on whether or not that child was born as a result of an abortion or born as a result of a normal delivery. Those children deserve the exact same level of medical care that we would provide for any child. And we know it is documented in state data that there are children that are being born alive after failed abortions who are not being given any medical care and are being left to die. We should agree, again, on both sides of this issue that those children deserve to have appropriate medical care when they are born alive.
Yeah, and that is an incredibly defending a position that would allow that to happen after a baby is born is an indefensible position, and one that shouldn't be a partisan issue, honestly. And I hope at some point that my Democrat colleagues will find their way to support that legislation. They've said this morning, some of my Democrat colleagues, that this hearing is intended to examine the supposed attacks on women's health. However, they fail to discuss how abortion can impact a woman's physical and mental health. As I said earlier, Republicans support women throughout their lives, which is why we have supported funding for the over 3,000 pregnancy resource centers throughout the United States, which are dedicated to providing support for moms and babies. South Dakota, these centers have been a lifeline to pregnant women, providing medical exams, food, diapers, along with education and help accessing other resources a woman and her child need. Democrats have said they don't believe there's enough support for pregnant women, but they also want to defund these centers. Dr. Francis, could you tell us a little bit more about the effects of an abortion on a woman's health? And in your experience, how have you seen these pregnancy resource centers support and benefit women?
Absolutely. So to answer your first question, we know that induced abortion carries significant risks to women's both physical and mental health. Over 160 studies show that induced abortion through surgery increases a woman's risk of preterm birth and future pregnancies. Not only does that threaten the health of her future children, but we also know that women with a history of preterm birth have a higher rate of cardiovascular disease and stroke later in life, so it's impacting their long-term health. We also know that women have a 7 times increased risk of suicide after induced abortion. This is even higher in women with pre-existing mental health disease. These are risks, again, that women should be made aware of before they make the choice to have an abortion. To your second question about pregnancy centers, just yesterday I had the privilege and honor of touring a pregnancy center in Lexington, Kentucky, and they told me about the story of a family, a couple that they had helped who came in with an unplanned pregnancy, and after talking to them decided to continue their pregnancy. Not only did they help them with material needs, but now that couple is married, they both finished their education, and they are doing amazing. That pregnancy center didn't just help them through their pregnancy, it helped elevate them out of the circumstances they found themselves in and helped them to be successful. That's what pregnancy centers are doing. They're doing it for no reimbursement, no profit to themselves. They're doing it because they not only care about those babies, but they care about the moms and the dads, and they're coming alongside of them.
Time of my colleagues
Thank you.
expired. Senator
Thank you,
Langford.
Mr. Chairman.